Attention, soldiers, you are now entering the war zone. Please keep close to your compatriots and have your weapons at the ready. If you would like to skip the introduction, please fast forward to about 7.5 minutes. And now, poets at war.
Once, there were 4 children, whose names were Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy.
Suppose I'm writing a novel. I write, Mary laid down her book. Next moment came a knock at the door. For Mary, who's got to live in the imaginary time of the story, there's no interval between putting down the book and hearing the knock. But I, her creator, between writing the first part of that sentence and the second, may have gone out for an hour's walk and spent the whole hour thinking about Mary.
We make things by the law in which we are made. We create because we are created.
In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit.
One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, in the darkness bind them.
Tolkien and Lewis, both in their way, lifted me out of this world to show me a thundering beauty. And when I read the last sentence and came tumbling back to earth, I could still hear the peal. I hear it to this day. God allowed those stories to lift the veil on the imaginary world to show me the real world behind it, which ended up being, in the end, the one I was already in. The real world, at least in part, isn't out there somewhere, nor is it in my mind. It's here, right under my feet, all around me. Tolkien and Lewis held the fabric of Narnia or Middle-earth in one hand and clutched our world in the other, building a bridge across which we could set out for perilous realms, and yet return safely with some of the beauty we found there.
My first and last philosophy, that which I believe in with unbroken certainty, I learnt in the nursery. I generally learnt it from a nurse, that is, from the solemn and star-appointed priestess at once of democracy and tradition. The things I believed most then, the things I believe most now, are the things called fairy tales.
We live in a moment that's unlike any other moment, a moment of bizarre tyranny, a moment of overreach.
I was nearly torn apart by a crazy doctor.
A moment of fear. It's like, and how are we living? How are we standing up in this moment?
I was made asleep by a bunch of mangy pirates.
Are we full of joy? Like, are we characters who are full of joy and unafraid?
And eaten. Got that? Eaten by a fire-breathing dragon. And not to mention being tossed, squashed, and scared practically to death.
It's like, how do we image God in this particular narrative in which we've been placed, in this chapter? And we get trained for that by reading about Sam and Frodo and Aragorn and Gandalf, and reading, Charlotte's Web and Animal Farm, and reading about Prince Caspian. Like, when you're little, you read those things and you read stories when you're older, and it reinforces what is the courageous action of a character in this moment.
Yet you stand before me.
Well, yeah.
Think, boy. What kind of an adventure would you have had if I brought you here with a turn of the page?
I wept bitterly, and then I said to myself, when everything happens quite miserably, then He sends help. I have always read so. People must first of all suffer a great deal before they can bring anything to accomplishment.
God, who at various times and in various ways spoke in time past to the fathers by the prophets, has in these last days spoken to us by His Son, whom He has appointed heir of all things, through whom also He made the worlds.
For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of Him who subjected it in hope, because the creation itself also will be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs together until now. Not only that, but we also who have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves, groan within ourselves, eagerly waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body.
minstrel boy to the war is gone. In the ranks of death you'll find him. His father's sword he hath girded on, and his wild harp slung behind him. God of song, said the warrior bard, though all the world betray thee, one sword at least thy right shall guard, one faithful harp shall praise thee. The minstrel fell, but the foeman's chain could not bring that proud soul under. The harp he loved ne'er spoke again, for he tore its cords asunder, and said, no chain shall sully thee, thou soul of love and bravery. Thy songs were made for the pure and free, they shall never sound in slavery. The chains upon the people came, and they gave away their freedom. No prophets left, they then grew lame, they accepted their false kingdom. But one young man saw the minstrel boy, and he took up the shredded strings, and with great love remade with joy the sacred tool for truth to sing.
Stupid amount of people in my family.
Just now?
Yep.
Just now you've discovered
They
this?
like I called Mom to figure out who I should be inviting to the wedding because I'm sending out save the dates, as y'all know.
Right.
Yes. And Debbie and I's calculations were sitting at a solid 200-ish. Bit more, but around 200.
Okay.
Mom just came in with an extra, and this is for each invite that would be sent out. Some of them have up to 6 kids because sent out, gave me an extra, let's see here, from 79 to 104 lines on my spreadsheet.
Yep.
Of people to send invites to.
Oh,
a stupid amount of people.
I have a piece of unsolicited wedding advice.
Okay.
When you are making the invites, also make the thank you cards.
That's brilliant.
You need come up with a couple of stock, just whatever, well, maybe not whatever, but come up with a couple of stock, just thank you notes, and do not be ashamed about using them, because you're not going to want to do that after when all is said and done. So as you're writing, come up with stuff, because loud. It's not something we want to deal with.
Yeah, much appreciated. I will definitely take that advice.
You better, because this is the voice of experience speaking.
Brendan's
I can tell.
Brendan's I don't have experience about much, but what I do.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm sending that to Debbie right now just so that we have it written down and can hopefully both remember it. I might send it to my family group chat as well.
There you go.
And her family group chat.
And there's 8 o'clock.
Because I don't want to forget that one.
Oh boy. So Casey,
you couldn't hear her because she is off frame, but my wife was agreeing in the background.
Okay.
Just so you both know, Casey, Hazel, Peter, they'll all be getting home soon. They were babysitting about 45 minutes from here. Someone that she knows and, does babysitting for every now and again. And so they'll be home. It'll be after bedtime. I don't think that it's going to be a big enough thing where I have to hop off, but they may, quote unquote, interfere. I don't think of it as interference. It's the show. It's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Your people make an appearance in the show? That never happens.
That never happens, guys.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, boy. So, yeah. Did anyone go and see Mulan again? Or has it been recent enough? I know I asked last time.
I did.
And we decided not to do a show.
I actually did watch it again. I am discovering that this film, while it might have been a good one when I was a kid, does not hold up for my current sensibilities.
Ooh, interesting.
Really?
Meaning I suffer severely from secondhand embarrassment. And there's a lot of secondhand embarrassment.
There's a lot of secondhand embarrassment in this movie.
That's fair.
For sure. For sure.
It's not that it's bad. Trust me, it is not that it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really well done. For me specifically, secondhand embarrassment is a killer. And yes, there's a that movie.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's definitely really good though. Like that's what struck me, because this was the one that I had seen most recently of all the Disney princess movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it struck me again. Man, this movie is just super solid. It's got really good music. Even like the score behind it, Jerry Goldsmith just knocked it out of the water.
Right.
With the score, especially Mulan's decision.
Oh yeah. I mean,
love that piece.
That's by far the best piece in the whole thing. In my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I have a bone to pick with a few things in the movie, but the main thing is I believe this movie is far better than it has any right being, especially given the source material. Not that it was particularly weird or abstract source material. It was basically war propaganda by China, basically stating whether or not she was real is up for debate. But the idea being like, look at this, a woman can do it. Why can't you, you stupid men?
Yeah, man.
Right, exactly. That was basically like
such a great song.
That was basically the full of the story. She went into battle. She did things. She conquered. Why can't you do it, you stupid men? This is a woman doing it.
Fun fact, Be a Man is banned at conventions.
Which conventions?
Many conventions. It is not allowed to be played.
Is it because man?
No, because it's too catchy. Everyone got sick of it.
So we can do the hamster dance, but we can't do be a man.
Yeah, basically.
That's bupkis.
What you're saying is you should get like a group of 40 people together to go to a convention and fully act out the choreography of Be a Man.
I mean,
while blasting it on speakers that you bring yourself.
If you do, it might pass because you're doing the choreography as well. But if you just start singing the song, people will get annoyed with you.
Okay.
Remember when Caramel Dancin' was being banned?
Oh my gosh. Okay. My hot take is that I like that song.
Oh, it's a great song. It's a great song. Does Alex even know about Caramel Dancin'?
What song?
He doesn't know about Caramel Dancin'.
No. No clue.
Oh, my son. My young lad. My child. I must teach you the ways of the internet. So, in fact, if you speed up Swedish, it sounds like Japanese.
It's true.
Okay.
So there's this song. It's Swedish. It's called Caramel Dancin'. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. The problem is someone, I can't, it's so old that, oh, here it is. Somebody took that and they sped up the song. This was actually, I think, the first instance of Nightcore.
It was at least like a major, if it wasn't a byproduct,
or a prototype
it was a
Nightcore,
prototype
we'll call
of
it.
Nightcore, yeah. Mm-hmm. You're familiar with Nightcore?
Nope, not by name.
Take song, speed up song, add techno beat underneath. Congratulations, you have Nightcore. It is about as original as it sounds. Well, somebody took the song and they put a specific loop of a particular anime dance to it. And I'm linking it to you in host chat right now. It is an internet sensation. This was a meme before memes existed. Back in the before time when YouTube was young and a wild, wild west. Because you can't tell me YouTube wasn't the wild, wild west at one point.
It was about 5 or 6 years old at this point.
Was it only 5 or 6?
Yeah. 2005 was
gosh.
when YouTube started. So
I'm old.
I'm definitely going to have to try and put this in, but you know how I do. All right, well, let's see if this will do. Are you seeing it?
We have to show that we are cultured by fitting in Carmel Thompson. Is that really the hill we're dying on today?
Well, at least I'm putting it in the video. People can look up the song. The sound isn't going through to the recording at the moment, and I don't really care. But it is fun.
It is I unironically like that song.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's kind of weird, but I unironically like that song, and fight me.
Are you hearing this?
I'm trying to pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
okay,
a song.
Yeah. Anyway, these kind of detours should be
that
should
definitely
be
sounds like Japanese to my completely untrained ears.
Right?
Well, I told you.
It's true. So,
detours are what make the show itself.
It's true.
The detours are what make the show. Yeah, I guess.
Yep.
So, I would argue, and have argued a few times in the Brood, when discussing like the last great Disney songs, I put I Can Go the Distance above anything in Mulan.
Well, yeah, because I Can Go the Distance is amazing.
Yeah, and I would argue that while Be a Man has all the cheese value and it's super fun and it does tell a good story, virtually everything else in it, with a minor nod to Reflection, which I think is good but could be so much better. Tim Rice's lyrics,
tell if
man.
Reflection is Gnostic or not.
That's a good question. Is Reflection Gnostic? I would argue that it is substitutionary, at the very least. When will my reflection show who I am inside? This is a bifurcated person. This is something that everyone points to because it's the hip thing.
Yeah.
But her bifurcation ultimately is something that she has created in her own mind because of outside pressures and other sorts of things, and she's just Mulan. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But Tim Rice's lyrics, man. One of my absolute cringiest lyric moments in any Disney movie is Honor to Us All. When she says, Ancestors, hear my plea. Help me not to make a fool of me. That's that's horrible.
It's bad.
That's like
it's not good.
5-year-old level lyrics.
Congratulations, you've rhymed me with me.
Not only did you rhyme me with me, but you also had me in a previous line, like That is part of the sentence. So you have three me's in the same line, and it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Reflection suffers too. There's a few lines in it that I'm not a big fan of, but then there's other parts that I'm like, oh no. Like the chorus, particularly, like it hits all the notes it needs to hit and does a good job of it.
Yeah.
But then some of the verses are a little bit. Look at me, I may never pass for a perfect bride or a perfect daughter. The rhyme scheme's all whacked out and sideways, and yeah. Anyway. The poet's gonna rant. Sorry, Tim Rice is not good.
The music is fun,
yes,
if not great,
right?
But the actual movie itself is significantly better than the lyrics.
Yes, I would agree. Another.
I don't have a
strong
on lyrics.
Though I do like "I'll Make a Man Out of You." We know that you don't have a strong opinion about lyrics. You think that lyrics destroy the music.
I didn't. Okay, now that is a mischaracterization, sir. I don't think they destroy the music. I think that I have gotten distracted by lyrics before. Usually,
I believe your exact quote was that lyrics take away from the music.
I don't think that was. Well, I might have said lyrics take away from the musicality,
and they can.
But that was meant to be more lyrics distract people from what the musical artist is doing, and you can hear that in particularly heavy metal songs. If you just drop the lyrical lines, you can hear some really interesting intricacies that are going on underneath. But most pop songs don't have that, so it doesn't really matter. That being said, for musicals, lyrics are important because the lyric is a part of the story. Right. I'm not a poet. So this is I don't have a particularly deep understanding of the craft.
That's okay.
Until somebody points out something like, oh, he rhymed me with me and used me in a line before. It's like, oh yeah, no, okay, that's obviously bad, but I didn't catch it.
Right.
For me, what I find really interesting is after Mulan is discovered to be who she is, and she's about to head back, the Huns crawl out of the snow. That's super coded like a zombie thing.
Absolutely.
It's basically a zombie scene. And I don't remember that. Like the hand coming out of the snow, it's like that's a classic zombie thing. And then the guys crawling up from the cliff. And even the way they're shaped, they're hunched over, a lot of them, except for the sword and shield guy. What's his deal? But yeah. It's just I'm like, that's just straight out of a horror movie. I mean, obviously it is. It's supposed to be, oh no, the bad guy's not dead. Oh, we're scared. But it's no, that's a zombie.
Right.
You're turning the Huns into zombies. I just thought that was it.
So,
yeah. The animation is the best part of the movie.
Yes.
Except for, as I said, that one, Mulan's Decision by Goldsmith.
Yes. Mulan's Decision is a particularly amazing piece of music and animation. Disney shines big time when they allow their big moments to be silent. They always have. Be silent with music and animation and bring everything together. They do a great job with that when they're allowed to. I would definitely put that in the top 5, especially Renaissance, but probably all time Disney animated sequences that have no dialogue. Excluding Fantasia, just because Fantasia has a million of them. But
well, Fantasia doesn't count, and Fantasia is on its own level, in my humble opinion.
Right. Well,
that's an entirely different thing.
Even if it's not a level above, it is an entirely different thing, like you said, one way or the other. It's just apples to oranges.
Just kind of curiosity, what other scenes would you put in there as top 5? Because I'm sure going to come up with 3.
The transformation sequence from Beauty and the Beast.
That's the big
one.
That's a really big one. There are some others immediately coming to mind. While not directly Disney, it was Disney Pixar at the time. I would put Up in that category. The beginning of the movie Up.
Okay, yeah.
The beginning of the movie?
I'd put Mulan's decision over the beginning of the movie up.
Lion King.
Lion King, yep. Even though it does have lyrics.
Lion King was the other one that came to mind.
Even though it does have
No,
lyrics, right?
Not.
Oh, you're
not
talking about
Mufasa's
Pride
death.
Rock. Pride Rock. Is that what
No, Mufasa's death.
Mufasa's death. Okay. There is.
You're talking dramatic moments where they are allowed to be silent, no lyrics, and the music just does its thing, right?
Yes, but there is. There are exclamations in that, but I guess you could put it in that same category. Vocal exclamation.
Well, that is the scene that is used for. That is the scene that is used in film classes to explain why music is important.
Right. Yes.
Because if you take that scene and there's no music, doesn't do anything. You put the music behind. Yeah, Simba's saying "Dad, Dad," but that's
right.
That doesn't count.
Right. Well, I would even put the Pride Rock scene at the very end in that same sort of category. I think that's an amazing sequence too. Going through the rain, climbing up Pride Rock. So there are other ones. But yeah, I mean, I was gonna transition into one of the characters who gets a whole bunch of different thoughts before he was Donkey. He was Mushu, and I would argue Mushu is one of the more tolerable Robin Williams analogs that we got during the Katzenberg era.
I like Mushu. I mean, Mushu's funny.
I like Mushu too.
Right. Yeah. He's not nearly as insufferable as Eddie Murphy can be, as we know later in Trek.
No, he's not.
That's true. Eddie Murphy's best role was in Daddy Daycare.
Probably.
Changed my mind.
Probably.
No, I'm not. I'm not a huge Eddie fan to begin with, but I mean, whatever.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. That's an all-time line.
That's what I was going to bring up. That is a quoted line weekly in my family.
Yeah. It's just such a great line.
So my wife actually forgot. She was like, why does the horse hate Mushu so much? Because she forgot that Mushu kept calling him a cow.
Yes.
And then at one point, during the movie when we were rewatching it, Mushu goes, "And what are you going to tell me? You're a sheep?" Just like, oh my gosh, that was good.
It's really good. The comedy in the movie is on point.
Yes,
like
except for the cringe parts. Yes.
Okay, is this the best visual comedy in the Disney Renaissance? Because I can't think of an immediate maybe Robin Williams and Aladdin.
Yeah, I would say Genie. I would put Genie over this, but it's
Genie definitely trumps this. But they had to build an entire. Well, I say they had to. They built an entire character around visual comedy in this. Where in this case, they had the characters and they had the characters doing comedy, and some of it happened to be visual.
And keep in mind, half of the animation was Robin Williams voice acting itself. The dude did hours and hours of improv for them to animate and pick and choose. Like that's a whole other thing.
What body parts would you give to have complete access to those tapes?
Right. For real. I'm sure Eddie Murphy did his time doing the Mushu character, because this was something Katzenberg really pushed a lot, because it tested well with audiences and all the other kinds of stuff. The more Warner Brothers-y kind of comedy, but kind of put into one character. I'd say one of the most failed attempts at this was probably Danny DeVito as Philoctetes. Even though he's funny, he's not anywhere near like that same level, and I think he was supposed to
in
be
Hercules.
Yeah, and I think he was supposed to be. Yeah, okay. I think he was supposed to be a Robin Williams-y character.
Maybe, but
I mean, he's the fast talking. He's the fast talking slang guy throughout the whole movie. Even though they also got Hades, but you know, Hades is Hades.
No, but just because a character talks fast and throws slang around and is kind of, the personalities are very different.
They are.
I don't think that it's fair to compare Genie to Phil.
I agree.
Because Phil is the reluctant mentor who doesn't want to do it because he's seen them die so many times, but he gives Herc a chance because, one, he's Zeus's kid, and two, he's like way more, he thinks, okay, maybe this one will go, and that's why he has such a hard time and why he's going to leave before Meg pulls him back, because it's like, he made a deal with Hades, he's going to die.
Right.
And he's like, dang it, I have to go back and help him. And then he does nothing anyway, because it's Meg who's the one who pushes him out of the way and he gets his strength back. But I don't know. I mean, I can see what you're trying to do. I'm just not sure I agree that there is a Robin Williams type specifically when it comes to Genie. I don't think that.
I'm saying early drafts, they were kind of like, this is going to be the Robin Williams character, and we'll cast Danny DeVito, and then it turned into not that at all.
Yeah.
Are you arguing that just doesn't exist at all? Like Disney didn't try to replicate that with Mushu or anything?
No.
Like that?
I'm saying.
Or are you saying that Phil specifically? I'm asking Brendan. Are you saying that Phil specifically is not one of them?
Well, I think that there are archetypes. I don't think Disney is necessarily saying we're going to do the Robin Williams archetype. I think that what they're like, all right, like because I think with characters, you can take like multiple different archetypes and mesh them together. So Phil was comedy, but also reluctant mentor. Let's try putting those together. Mushu is, I don't even know what the heck archetype Mushu would be, but like comedy, but guardian guiding spirit. Let's mesh those together. Genie is all powerful, magical sugar daddy. Wait, no.
Mushu is Sebastian mixed with the Genie.
Sure, yeah. Mushu, right, but I don't even want to say that. Like, I'm not saying that Disney didn't do this, because that would be, because I don't know what Disney did or didn't. But I think that it might be a little uncharitable to say, oh, we need to make another Robin Williams.
Yeah, no, but that's that's definitely what Jeffrey Katzenberg was trying to do. As far as the animators and stuff, they were pushing away from that, right? The people who were actually making the movie, they were pushing against that. But I'm saying this was an editorial mandate that Katzenberg talked about a lot of the times in documentaries and things about DreamWorks and how everything changed when he went there, was like he wanted to make things more like what we see in things like Shrek, while still having things like Prince of Egypt. Like that's what he wanted. He wanted to have like these weird Robin Williams-y things, because he thought that was the thing. People conflate cartoons and funny, and so we always have to be putting a certain brand of
funny
childish,
things in the cartoon.
well, particularly childish humor, to appeal to children, because people conflate cartoons, children humor together, right? That was his argument.
But Genie isn't childish.
I know. And that's the thing he didn't get.
You know that, and I know that, but the Katzenbutt doesn't know that.
Right.
Right.
I mean, he might now, but he didn't then.
All right. The thing is, okay, so the fact that you're pulling information from documentaries, I don't have that information.
Sure.
I didn't know. So my theory goes out the window then. But yeah, all right. I guess I'll shut up then, because I was trying to say, no, I don't think that's what they were trying to do. No, okay, that's apparently what they were trying to do.
But that's not what the people who actually made Mushu were trying to do. I think Eddie Murphy kind of knew that he was being pulled in to do this sort of Genie-ish thing. I think that was clear to him, but I don't think anyone else making the character was actually trying to do Genie in any way, shape, or form. I think they were trying to move away from that and move away from as many of the formulas that Disney was handing down at the time, because they saw that if they didn't get away from that, these are the people who tried to create, and did create Treasure Planet and other sorts of things. They were moving away from that. They were trying to move away from as many of the formulas of the Renaissance as possible to keep moving forward and keep progressing the art form forward. Whereas the people in charge were saying, let's do this again. Let's do this again. We have to do this again, or else we're not going to have money for your special projects like Treasure Planet, which they never push the budget out for. But that's a whole other thing. You know, they said, make your movie, we'll pay you for it, but like, we're not going to market it. You know,
so stupid.
Oh, I know.
So incredibly dumb. I'm so mad.
Yep. So with Mulan, I have on the thing, you guys can't see it right now because we're still doing the recording style. I'm still figuring it out. I said, Mulan, feminist icon or faithful daughter? And I think that's really the question. I think there was a battle in the studio from all sides that ultimately culminated in a really nice middle road that ultimately lands on the faithful daughter side of things. But what do you guys make of the feminist themes that they tried to put into the movie? Do they shine through, or does this become ultimately something entirely different?
You can definitely tell that there's some feminist influence.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I'll absolutely 100% sign on to. You can absolutely tell that there was a feminist influence in at least the writing of the movie, but probably all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
However, because it's not overwhelming, it's either everybody was actually really good at doing subtle storytelling, like you've been talking about with me whenever we've been talking about Buffy, and that it's really subtly feminist, or, as you said, the battle going on ended up holding it to a really interesting stalemate, and I tend to favor that one because there's enough of this, like enough of the themes of fidelity and doing what you are supposed to, even whenever it is a tremendously difficult thing to do, that it works really, really well.
Yeah.
And feminism hasn't ever been known for, pushing fidelity as a good thing.
Yeah. I think Disney really learned from some of even though they didn't talk about it much, I think they really did learn from the backlash that came from certain evangelical circles through The Little Mermaid in particular, because she was going based off of pure selfish instinct in Disney's Little Mermaid, whereas Mulan, later Moana, and other sorts of things, if they feel a pull to something, they end up having to justify it for themselves before they make a decision. That has generally been the pattern. Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Is JL a feminist icon?
No.
If they ever actually read the Bible, probably they would try to make her into one.
Because she's kind of, I feel like it's obviously not a perfect parallel, but there are similarities.
Sure.
And so, if we just take the raw, flat, basic premise, I don't think the premise is particularly feministic.
Right.
No, it's not.
No.
Right? So then at that point, it's a question of execution. And in terms of execution, I don't have, the closest you can get to is that Mulan figures out, oh, wait, if I use leverage, I can get up the pole.
Right.
Right? Rather than just charging forward and trying to, carry. If I use the weight as a counterweight, I can scooch up.
Right.
Right? That is a... you could make an argument of, oh, she's a girl, she's smarter than all the other boys. But
that's also just a actually true difference between men and women, is that men tend to face the problems head on instead of looking for the smart way to do things.
And she doesn't beat them at their game.
Right.
Yeah.
She circumvents...
She breaks the game.
She breaks the game, which is not... you can make an argument that that's feministic, but I don't really feel like it is, because she's not... She's not pulling a plank of wood. What's her name? Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
She's not pulling a Captain Marvel and I'm just going to keep blowing up bad guys better than you can blow me up.
Right.
And I'm just better at you because I'm better.
Right.
Right? It's not that. So, I mean, like you said, if it's I think like you said, if it's feminist, it's really subtle. Now, normally I don't like subtle storytelling when it comes to potentially negative influences because it can be very insidious. But I think there's a point where storytelling it can be so subtle that it's missed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened here.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there are a couple of pearl clutchers who are going to shriek and overreact at anything that might even remotely feel like it. And because there is a little bit there, they overreact, and it's not actually as bad as it could be.
Yeah, I'd say the thing closest to anything overt in this would probably be the 3 sidekick army characters having to dress and drag to finish out the mission toward the very end.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably the closest thing to a feminist message. It's not. It's inherently not,
but
because
at the
it's
same
still
time,
distinguishing. Yeah.
It's stealth, though.
Yeah, totally.
It's silly stealth.
It is a contrived sequence. However, it does work.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like you could also make a pretty decent argument about the entire... It's not exactly nonchalance, but the film's, if not the character's, dismissal of the matchmaker in the first scene.
Yep.
That has a feminist edge to it.
Sure.
But as Brendan said, it's subtle. Or as Brendan agreed with, it's subtle. It's very subtle.
And I don't know. To me, this is just me being weird. I kind of almost got Prodigal Son vibes at the very end when she comes back and she offers the sword and the medal, like, this goes to our family. I'm here, Dad. I'm sorry. And he hugs her like, you are the thing I care about. Like, I got Prodigal Son vibes from that.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I'm like, and like, you know, we kind of trashed the Little Mermaid because
rightly so,
she doesn't suffer consequences for her actions,
right?
And but at the same time, you almost get that here, kind of.
You get it better here, way better here.
Yes.
Well, but
because she actually shows remorse for her actions, even though she knows they were right. The thing is, she has a I'm using the term bifurcated a lot. I don't mean to, but she has a bifurcated moral compass throughout the entire movie. What I'm doing is wrong, but it is for the right reasons. So she puts the right reasons above the wrong action, but she decides ultimately she still has to own up to the wrong actions. And as she does, her father concludes with her that because of the reasons they were justified. And so that's a whole extra layer beyond anything Mermaid did. Like you were saying, it's actually acknowledging that there was wrong done, but that wrong was superseded by the right actions. And that's one of the things that there isn't, unlike in Moana and Mermaid and a few other films, there's usually a beat where they go, screw the old traditions, let's start doing things a new way. They even do this in Aladdin, right? Where the Sultan just goes, oh, who cares about that law, right? Etc.
Yeah.
And they don't do that here. That is a very subtle and interesting thing because there's no need to do it here, right? She has done what she's done. She's been forgiven by her father and thus her family. And as far as anyone else is concerned, they're going to have to deal with the emperor, right?
Yep.
So, like, there's no need to change anything about the society. There's no need for other women to suddenly be drafted into the military. You know what I'm saying? Like, she did what she did to save her father, and it was rewarded because it was a good and righteous thing to do in that moment, in that circumstance, which I think that's a much more mature decision that only exists in Mulan as far as I know, compared to other Disney movies of similar story.
Yeah, because even in Moana, which I give credit for being better than most modern Disney movies.
Agreed.
You don't have that level of complexity to it. It's a very simple, everybody else is in the wrong. I'm breaking this tradition because everybody else can see it.
Right.
Or because nobody else can see it, I'm the only one who can.
Not because this is the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
So,
she's in the right, but there's not that extra level of complexity. I get that this is not the right thing to do, but it was in this situation.
One of my favorite bad guys is in this one. Not because he's particularly...
Is it the Emperor's... Is it the Emperor's assistant?
No, it's Shan Yu.
Is it the panda that Mushu rides?
No,
because that is secretly the villain. No.
It's Shan Yu.
The ancestors.
Oh, the ancestors are hilarious. We can get to them in a minute. But Shan Yu, while he isn't the most compelling Disney villain by any stretch, what they do in a very short amount of time with him is excellent. Particularly the doll, and we must return it to the little girl. That whole thing says so much about the depth of depravity in war while still remaining a Disney movie. And that is just full credit to the people who knew the rating that they had to get and still had to tell the story. That's an amazing, beautiful way of skirting that line and giving you a real serious threat without overstepping any bounds, because it's all left up to the imagination. Well done.
Yeah.
Brendan's thinking.
And
thinking really hard because Disney villains are they're so I feel like they're really they're all over the spectrum, but generally the villains are really well done generally.
Yes, they
not
used to
always.
be. Not nowadays, because we don't have villains now, but
right. But there's even the variety, I'll say, that you get, right? Because you got there is a lot of villains who are evil, and they're very obviously evil, and they are meant to be evil. But even within that evil spectrum, you get a lot of variation. You get Shan Yu on one end, which is kind of flat,
Yes, he's one-dimensional.
And then you've got on one end, and then I would argue you've got Dr. Facilier on the other.
Sure.
Where you've got a really complex villain there.
He's very charismatic. Okay.
Facilier is amazing.
Well, no, but he's not just charismatic, he's desperate.
Yeah.
There is a lot that goes on with Facilier because of why he's doing what he's doing. Speaking of why we're doing what we're doing, hello, Hazel.
Hello.
Hey, Hazel.
You say hi to everybody?
Yeah. She said hi.
They just got back.
Wait.
You want to say hi, Peter?
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
There he is.
Hi, Peter.
He said hi to you, Peter. Hi.
All right. You guys are going to get to go to bed, okay?
Right now.
You listen to Mama and you follow her instructions, okay? Hi, Mama. Everyone says hi. Okay.
Flailing.
Specific before I continue?
But, I would... This is probably not going to be I don't know if this is going to be a hot take or not, but I think Maleficent is more on the end of Shang Yu, just in terms of complexity, because she is just I am evil. And then Hades is also over on that end, but a little bit more center slightly. He has a little bit more complexity to him, but not much. He's still mostly evil. But Hades is a lot more charismatic.
Hades' actions are all on one side, and then his dialogue is all the way on the other.
Yeah. He's wild. I love Hades. James Woods killed it on Hades.
Oh,
my gosh, Hades is my favorite villain. Yeah, but then like Moana doesn't have a villain. Moana's villain is Society.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
We're holding.
I am holding.
I'm holding harder.
9.
Is that a challenge?
I'm getting into an argument about if Moana has a villain or not.
Moana has generational baggage is the antagonist.
Well, we're trying to yeah. I'm trying to make a distinction between a character as a villain who is actively opposing the main character throughout the entirety of the story.
An antagonist versus a villain,
and
yes.
the crab monster that shows up once.
Tamatoa is a villain, but not the villain.
Yeah, he is a villainous character, but he's not the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he is. No, but Shang Yu, yeah, I don't. Shang Yu.
He's one note, but he does it so well.
Like
that's my thing.
He's one note. He does it really well, and he really more comes across like a force of nature rather than an actual person.
Yep.
And he's just like, I am conquering.
Which look at that. That's historical accuracy to what the Huns were like in all reports.
Hey,
force of nature.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's the line from Crash Course? Unless you are, wait for it, the Mongols.
Right.
They're the exception.
Huns and Mongols similar, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that bring up the ancestors. You brought them up. Very, very funny. Love the few sequences they're in. The side characters are enjoyable. I still don't understand the weird, I don't know what it is. There's a few characters in all of Disney where their voice just completely takes you out of anything, at least it does for me. And it's not that it's a bad performance, it's just like not the right voice. The raspy voice guy, little Chinese Gimli guy. His
Chinese Gimli guy, K.
I forget. I don't know their names. Their names do not matter in the context of the movie.
That's it.
Yeah, their names do not matter in the context of the movie. His voice. Anytime Candy, what's his face? It's the guy who reaching back to Peter Pan, the chief. He's been in several different Disney movies. Super ridiculously low voice. I forget his name, but it's something Candy or Candido or something like that. I can't remember. But he is another one of those voices that just takes me out of the movie for a second because it's so completely different from everything else in the soundscape. I'm not necessarily complaining though. With this one, I do a little more than Candy guy. But yeah, as far as anything else goes, I think the end credit song also takes me out of the movie, even though I like it. It's a great song. Stevie Wonder is amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
when we heard the end credit song, we were like, and now for something completely different. Okay.
This is the radio hit to accompany the movie. We just inserted it in a way that we didn't do with Beauty and the Beast, where it was just, a love ballad, right? This is just, yay, everyone's happy now. The end. I think that was the start of Don't Go Breaking My Heart. In 5 or 6 different animated movies in the early 2000s, it all kind of stemmed from that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few things like that just make me go, yeah. But at the same time, I think we'll see as we go forward. This was a major turning point. This was a return to form after Pocahontas, in many ways, and then minus, Hunchback was before this too. Basically, from here we go to Tarzan. as far as the movies go, not princess movies specifically, but those. And then we start to get into the more boy-centric movies because they're trying to move into that market. And a lot of it wasn't marketed properly because Disney didn't know what to do with it, and or they were told not to market it. We get Lilo and Stitch, great movie, but totally different. Everything just starts changing, and it won't be a while before we finally get back to, what is it? Princess and the Frog. Which I believe is
Princess and the Frog the next one?
Is it
the next princess one?
I think it is. I think Mulan.
It really might be.
It's crazy. I'm looking it up real quick just to see.
Is Atlantis before Princess and the Frog?
If you want to count,
because we said
Kita,
Atlantis.
Yeah, we said that we wanted to talk Atlantis.
I think we do want to talk Atlantis.
I mean,
but...
I think if we included the Black Cauldron, we should include Atlantis.
Yeah, we should include Kita. We did Robin Hood as well, Maid Marian. So yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, Kita should be in there, but the next one that is one quote unquote proper Disney princess is Tiana, which is insane that we had to wait from Mulan to Tiana.
That's what 90. That's 98 to 2007, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So when did Tangled come out?
Tangled was after.
Tangled came out 2011, I believe.
It was after? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Princess and the Frog was the first one back because that was the last 2D animated feature that they did.
And Hunchback was after Mulan, but before...
No, Hunchback was before Pocahontas.
Hunchback was before Pocahontas?
Yep.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No way. That's wild because I always thought the Hunchback's emanation. Hunchback's emanation looks better than Pocahontas' emanation.
Yeah, Hunchback was 1996. Hunchback was 1996, and Pocahontas. Okay, maybe Pocahontas was. Yeah, okay, Pocahontas was 95. So excuse me. Hunchback was the one after Pocahontas. So, which we didn't do Esmeralda, but that's a stretch. Esmeralda's a stretch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she's not a princess. We should definitely talk Hunchback at some point in time.
Definitely.
Yeah, No, well, we have to include it. Well, yeah, no, but I'm willing to put Hunchback in the bin of animated movies that are not Disney princess movies, because I also think we should talk about Quest for Camelot, but that is not Disney.
Yeah, and I think we should talk Swan Princess, which I don't think either of you have seen, but it is actually really good.
I have.
Oh, you have?
I saw it a long time ago.
It has some stuff that holds up and some stuff that doesn't, but I really like it. So,
are we covering Anastasia?
I do want to cover Anastasia at some point, but I'm not going to do it as a Disney thing because it was Fox at the time.
Okay.
That one was.
So we're not retroactively Disney things?
Yeah, we're not. We're just going to go
1997.
Yeah, 97. So that's right around this time. Anastasia was more a princess movie than this one. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
More than Mulan.
There's an entire category of classification for Disney princesses that serves the only purpose that it serves is to make Mulan a Disney princess.
Right. Yes.
Since technically a Disney princess is somebody who is a princess and owned by Disney, Princess Leia counts.
Right, exactly.
Down.
Yep.
Talk Star Wars again.
No. And hold on, it gets better because Disney owns Marvel, and Marvel Comics for a while had Thor as a woman. Thor is a Disney princess.
Yes. Yep.
Shuri is a Disney princess. That'd actually be a fun one to talk about.
Technically, because the first two Narnia movies were put out by Walden Media and distributed through Disney, Lucy and Susan, while queens, have the Frozen rule, the Elsa rule. They are in fact Disney princesses. Anyway,
there we go. There it is. There it is. We nailed it. We cracked the code, guys.
We cracked the code.
I do legitimately want to hit Black Panther at some point in time, though.
Yeah, Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least the Infinity Saga, would be fun to go through at some point.
It'd be a long project. That's 27 movies?
I don't remember, but it's
21
enjoyable.
movies, I think.
It's
half the movies, I'd just be like, meh.
Meh.
Then I'd gush over Winter Soldier and how good it is, and then
See, that's funny because
because
Winter Soldier is actually one of my least favorites. How?
Winter Soldier is objectively, like, on a filmmaking level, one of the best Marvel movies,
and has very little superhero action in the movie.
Yeah,
it's a political thriller.
Yes, it's a political thriller.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah. That's why I'm one of the apologists
I also have
for
an entire rant on why Guardians 2 was a mistake and why Thor Ragnarok should have been Guardians 2, but
I agree wholeheartedly with you. Those two should have been combined. However, that's why I like, even though I'm not a huge fan of Guardians 2, that's why I like Ragnarok, because it's like fully and completely unapologetically a superhero movie. You know?
It's fully and completely unapologetically super thing. Well, no, because my thing is, let me see if I can phrase this right. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was a comedy disguised as a superhero movie. Guardians 2 was a superhero movie disguised as a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, it had drastic and wonky tone shifts that just didn't work for me.
I agree with you.
For Ragnarok was back to a comedy disguised as a superhero movie.
Right.
But the disguise, again, is why the comedy, because the comedy elements are part of like the story, but the superhero elements are the thing that people come to watch. You still get that anyway. So, yeah.
I'm going to come back to this, but everybody, be your family's bard. Do not turn to the right or to the left. And the Lord will be with you wherever you go. These have been getting shorter lately, but I don't necessarily hate that. We'll see you next time in the trenches on Poets at War.
For more conversations like this with our 3 intrepid leaders, go to joshuadavidling.com and check out more of Poets at War.
God of song, said the warrior bard, though all the world betray thee, one sword at least thy right shall go.